Hello everyone, Brian Miller here for StarWarsNewsNet.com, and this is your Newsnet Weekly Roundup for Saturday, March 4th, 2023. With Star Wars Jedi Survivor edging closer and closer to its release date, now's a great time to be wondering what the future of the franchise has in store for us. In a recent interview with IGN, the director of Jedi Survivor, Stig Asmussen, talked about the possibility of a third game to round the franchise out as a proper trilogy. We were already talking about the second game. Frankly, we were talking beyond. And these are conversations that when we're breaking the story with Lucasfilm, it's like, well, where are we going with the second game? I always wanted to see this as a trilogy. How can we take Cal and the crew to new places beyond what we were doing in the first game? We had a pretty decent idea of time frame where we wanted Survivor to take place, what the stakes were going to be, and what the tone of the game was going to be, what Cal was going to be up against, and how the crew was going to factor into that. And there's ideas of what we could do beyond that as well. He also went on to say that a third game would inevitably be created using Unreal Engine 5. The second installment in the Star Wars Jedi series was recently pushed back to the end of April. However, in the statement released by Respawn, they promised us the game was content complete, meaning if there's going to be a third game, it's safe to assume the developers already know and have plans to move forward with it. If you've never checked out the series, now's the time to get caught up. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order recently saw a price reduction, and the series' interim novel Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars is set to release next week. We all know Dave Filoni is the heir apparent to the Star Wars franchise, but it seems like there's still some things the creator doesn't know, particularly the future. But as Master Yoda says, always in motion the future is. It seems this is the philosophy that Filoni follows. When talking with IO9, Filoni revealed that when he finished up the Rebels series in 2018, he didn't know exactly what was going to happen later for these characters. At the time that I did the epilogue in Rebels, I had an idea of what this story would be, and it was definitely, so all of that, just to answer the question, I would say yes. It was definitely an option in my mind that, wow, this could be live action if I go forward with this. But there were a lot of other things in that if, which was, can I tell the story as well? What does that look like? What's the budget like? Who's going to play these characters? There are so many unknowns. But it was definitely on the table, as well as just continuing in animation. When asked why he decided to take the Ahsoka series into live action, he added, you have to decide what's best for the story. And I think we found, whatever my story is about in Ahsoka, I'm very pleased. And I didn't know John would be doing Mandalorian at the time when I did that epilogue. That was all in motion, but I didn't understand Ahsoka's role in it, certainly. But I do know this time period because I grew up with a lot of expanded universe material in it. And so I think that's also been an influence on what the future holds for everyone existing post-Return of the Jedi. It's getting safer and safer by the day to say Filoni's comments about post-Return of the Jedi and the old EU once again reinforce the notion that eventually we'll see a live-action adaptation of the classic Heir to the Empire novels. But time will tell. Ahsoka is expected to release later this year on Disney+. In recent years, it seems like there is one piece of Star Wars material that no matter how much we try to forget about it, it just won't die. In 1978, the Star Wars Holiday Special aired for the first and last time on network television. The special was so bad, even George Lucas has been quoted saying, if I had the time and a sledgehammer, I would track down every copy of that show and smash it. Now it looks like we'll get a behind-the-scenes look at the history of the infamous special. A new documentary called A Disturbance in the Force, How the Star Wars Holiday Special Happened, is set to premiere on March 11th. In 1977, Star Wars became a cultural phenomenon that single-handedly revitalized a stagnant film industry, and forever changed how films were sold, made, and marketed. Movies would never be the same again. A year later, neither would television. In 1978, CBS aired the 2-hour Star Wars Holiday Special during the week of Thanksgiving and was watched by 13 million people. It never re-aired. While some fans of the franchise are aware of this dark secret, this bizarre 2 hours of television still remains relatively unknown among the general public. Simply put, we will answer how and why the holiday special got made. Even though the special never re-aired, you can still find distributors that sell DVD and Blu-ray copies of it. You just need to know where to look. And finally, we've got some new canon material that was released this week. The 11th episode of The Bad Batch, titled Metamorphosis, released on Wednesday alongside the Season 3 premiere of The Mandalorian, titled The Apostate, as well as comic issues The Mandalorian number 8, Star Wars number 32, The High Republic, The Nameless Terror number 1, and Star Wars Hyperspace Stories number 4. Reviews for those entries into the canon timeline can be found on the Newsnet. And that does it for your Newsnet Weekly Roundup. All of these stories and more can be found in greater detail at StarWarsNewsNet.com. And don't forget to check back regularly for breaking news out of the Star Wars universe. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and check out our Instagram page. I'm Brian Miller for the Star Wars Newsnet. You can follow me at Brian Miller 1138, and you can also check me out on my podcast every week, the Star Wars Canon Podcast. Until next week, may the Force be with you.